Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk, where we discuss issues of the day with our guests. I have the distinct pleasure of having with me here today Constance Singam, who has been a long-time advocate for women's rights in Singapore. Ms. Singam has been a pioneer at the Association of Women for Action and Research, appropriately acronymed AWARE. She was the president of the organisation for a total of 6 terms, spanning a period over 2 decades, and is also the former president of the Singapore Council of Women's Organisations. She's an untiring social activist and writer and blogger, and she continues to speak up on important social issues that confront our society. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome you on our set and thank you for your time. You have worked with AWARE for a number of years, serving as its president for a total of 6 terms. Can you tell us a little about the kind of work that AWARE does?
Sure. I first have to say that I'm not representing AWARE here. I'm here as an individual, concerned, interested in Singapore politics, and interested in alternative views and alternative positions. That's my place here. Now, as to the work we have done, at least during my terms, it's usually, we've always looked at the macro level of policies and identify areas which needed policies or needed policy changes. We do research and identify areas of neglect or areas that need to be highlighted.
As someone working in an NGO, what are your thoughts about the political scene in Singapore? Do you think that the political climate, if not the landscape, has changed?
It may have changed, and but the problem is when you have had a political climate over so many years, and it had, I think, about 2 or 3 generations. It's very, very difficult, for people to make those changes. The attitudes to change, any kind of attitude, takes a long time to change. So I can only see change coming, maybe beginning now.
Women's participation in politics seems to be still very limited. Why do you think this is so? Is there still a glass ceiling that prevents women from becoming more involved in the nation's politics? Or are women, Singapore women, generally more politically uninterested?
As you were asking me the question, I was thinking there's a glass ceiling, I think, both for men and women in politics, So it's not just women. It's more difficult for women. Women are interested. I'm not saying women are not politically interested, They are. From my own experience, I see that they're interested. When the need arises, they can be very easily mobilized. They're there. But their work in Singapore is about 16 hours a day. That alone can put impossible burdens on a person, a man or a woman, Then you have the women who is married, who have children, and who have a home to look after. So where is the energy and the time to go beyond that? Then thirdly, we're confronted with the culture, and it's very, very Asian culture, which is strange. It seems to be more apparent in Singapore than in the region. Like Indonesia and Malaysia, for instance, they're also very traditional, but you have more women in politics than we have, which is why I think one of the biggest problems in Singapore is that we have been depoliticized.
What can political parties, or even civil society for the matter, do to encourage more women to come forward and be more politically active?
I think we just have to look at our corporate culture, our workplace, the number of hours we have to work. And then people have to recognize that politics is very important, that it plays a huge, it's hugely relevant to having an impact on their value system and on their lives. So they need to be more participatory.
Singapore has ratified the United Nations CEDAW, Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, but not the ICCPR, or rather the International Covenant for Civil and Political Rights. Why do you think this is the case?
Quite obvious, I think. Our civil and political rights are the most sensitive where our leaders are concerned, you know. So, yeah, but I think that's the reason.
On a more general note, many people have expressed a desire to see more opposition representation in Parliament. And yet, through the years, the opposition has only played a minute role in the political scene. Why do you think this is?
I think people feel the need for checks and balances. They do worry about not having stronger voices in Parliament. I think there is a need for that, you know, to balance. Also, I don't think one party alone, whether it's the opposition or the party in power, have all the wisdom and all the knowledge and all the understanding of people's problems, everybody, its problems, you know. So you have to, which is why civil society is also important, because you can raise issues that doesn't seem to come into public discussions, you know.
Do you think that the opposition will do better in the next election? And I'm going to put you in a spot here and ask you your prediction for the outcome for the next GE.
Oh dear, I have no clue. Singapore electorate.
But what's your take on the internet? Some people say that its effect on politics and society is overblown. Has the internet played a part in opening up political space in Singapore?
Oh yes, I think so. I mean, it happened in the last election, and I don't think it's overblown, because that's one way to access for young people. You know, young people are more open to internet, and they're not very good readers, so they don't read the newspaper so much, you know. And I know that it's easier to mobilize when you have the Twitter or email system, and to pass messages on very quickly. It's already happening. So, yes, I think that will help, you know.
Where do you see the political fight taking place in the next 5 years, as far as the media is concerned? Do you think that the shift will move to the new alternative media?
Yes, I think so. It is already happening, and it happened during the last election. And even President Barack Obama, when he was a candidate, he used the alternative media to his advantage. That's how he mobilized young people. I think even in Iran, they use the alternative media. The opposition used the alternative media to mobilize people. So I can see it coming, you know. It's, well, it's not so easy to control. Yes.
On that note, we'll have to leave it there. I want to thank you for coming today. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you very much, Gilly. Thank you. Yes.
As they say, all good things must come to an end. I hope you've enjoyed the show as much as I have presenting it. You have been watching Let's Talk. Until the next time, I'm Chatilik, wishing you a good week ahead. Thank you for watching.